Hello, welcome to another infj ramble. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're taking time to be present and to be with yourself because you are the most important investment. Today I had several things I wanted to talk about, but let's start with a reminder. I spent this morning journaling, and oh my goodness, I think my journaling style has changed. Before, I would just kind of like free flow thoughts onto paper, and now I've incorporated like drawings and stuff. I think it just switches things up and makes things fun. But yeah, I literally spent this morning journaling all of this stuff. All of this stuff. And I cannot stress how I want to say beneficial journaling is, because it definitely gets your thoughts out onto paper where you can view them easily. And yeah, it's really I think a very useful tool, especially when you're trying to process emotions or you're trying to like set goals for yourself, or to see where you are blocking yourself from yourself, you know. Yeah, so the message of today is stop underestimating and doubting yourself. Stop underestimating and doubting yourself. Normally, I feel I feel like we are always in our own way. If we are stuck in a particular like segment of life, in a particular timeline of life, and we don't like what's happening, it's probably because you're holding yourself back from leveling up, from being your authentic self, and then, obviously, like, life will bring people or situations or experiences to you to mirror that at you. But a lot of times, a lot of people spend a lot of time projecting and blaming instead of being, wait, hold on, let me see what the universe is trying to teach me right now. And I notice, like, the sooner you learn the lesson, the sooner you can ascend, into the next level of being, which I feel like is just becoming more of yourself, being more authentic. Just stop fooling yourself, stop holding yourself back, stop doubting yourself. um Moving into this video, I was going to talk about, I guess, the infj journey. And again, INFJ is just a label, as a disclaimer. These are all just words that we use to describe a particular operating system that a person like uses in order to experience life, you know, navigate life. In previous videos, I said when I was younger, I just wanted a manual to life because everything was just so confusing. I was hypersensitive and I didn't understand why. I was doing everything that I feel aligned with my truest essence and my soul and my heart. And I just kept being met with people who were, um, who were like unkind, ungrateful, um, yeah, just putting me through the ringer and constantly just like I don't know, neglecting me. And yeah, I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And then also on top of that, you're like able to like feel everyone's energy. And then it's like you didn't know what was your energy, what was someone else's energy. It's so confusing. But I think I'm here to say that all of those things are absolutely necessary in order to be the catalysts for your highest self. You know what I mean? I just feel like I don't think you're just placed in particular situations and you don't meet like particular people. It's not just happenstance. It absolutely has a meaning behind it, whether you can see it or not. We meet people in particular times, we experience certain things in particular times in order to catalyze our growth, in order to push us towards self awareness, self knowing, and ultimately becoming more of ourselves, you know? And it's funny, when I was younger, and I think you can relate to this, but I would always like kind of, yeah, I want to, if I were to be honest, play the victim card. Like, why is this happening to me? Like, why is this person treating me this way? Why are things, but you see how like everything starts with a question, why? And that's the first step on the path. When you question things, like, why? Why? Like, I want to understand this. Why? Like, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I keep encountering people who don't treat me well? Why do I keep encountering people who take me for granted? Why? It's like, it starts with a question. And that's the only way you can really get an answer. And the answer comes from yourself, you know? But most people don't question. They just go, oh, they spend a lot of their mental energy complaining about like someone or something, and then just never really asking why, never really inquiring, never really looking at themselves. Maybe even like realizing that they are part of the problem. It's not just the person outside of you. That person outside of you is just a mirror showing you parts of yourself that you haven't, I guess, illuminated yet. It's still in the dark. It's still kind of hiding and lurking in the corner. You know what I mean? Um, if you're wondering why I'm wearing this, it's cold, it's raining, and this kind of just helps me to retain the heat in my head so I can stay warm. But yeah, so it's all necessary. It's like, also like, if you want to talk about like being hypersensitive to other people's energy, I know like some people don't like it, but if you look at the benefits of it, it's like, wow, you get to actually walk in someone else's shoes without actually walking in them, because you have access to their energy, you know? And not only that, because you get to walk in their shoes energetically, you can understand where they are on a mental, emotional kind of like I don't want to say schematic. You can just kind of like pinpoint where they are emotionally and mentally. And yeah, a lot of times when we're younger, we have a hard time differentiating someone else's energy from our own. It's because we are learning, you know, and learning how to kind of like hone in on our energetic reading skills, and also to refine it, and it starts with like getting to know people outside of yourself first, you know, and then afterwards you just kind of like start working back to yourself. And then you get to a point where it's just like, oh, okay, I know my energy intimately. I know how I feel on my own. And that's why we spend a lot of time alone. That's why we're able to do that, right? So when you go out into the world, you can like recognize, like, oh, okay, I feel this energy. I can like understand where this person is coming from because I have the ability to step into their energy. And then also, I can be like, but it's not mine. So at this point, I don't need to take responsibility for it. And I also don't need to let it affect me, but I certainly know that it exists and I understand it and I can read it perfectly clear in this other person, you know? It's a gift, guys. But before it becomes a gift, I guess it is a curse, because you have no manual, you have no idea what's happening, you have no idea how to navigate it, and so forth, right? But yeah, but like now, currently, um, because I've been in hermit mode for some time, I definitely can feel like what is mine and what, is not mine. And when I encounter another person, it's like I think I've like done enough inner work to like be at ease and at peace with myself. I mean, I falter still sometimes, this is hard work, it's not easy. But like most of the time when I'm in the presence of someone else, I can differentiate like my feeling and their feeling. And then I can also like see the projections. I can sense when somebody is manipulating, when somebody is being inauthentic, when somebody, what their intentions are, what their true feelings are. Because most people lie, right? Like, oh, how are you today? Oh, I'm fine. And then you can like kind of like sense and feel and see, and almost like, how do I say? Yeah, you can sense and see and feel like what they're actually hiding. You can see beyond the layers beyond the mask, energetically speaking. It's really funny because I feel like people who are not spiritually inclined, they have no idea that this aspect of life exists. And so when you try to talk to them, that's probably why most people can't understand, because they just don't have experience in it, because they're too, like, I want to say, enmeshed in the 3D reality. They haven't really gone beyond that. They haven't gone beyond the box because they still feel very limited by it. And they also are very influenced by, what everybody else is like adhering to or following. So, they don't know any other way. And so when you come into their world and you try to like tell them this information, they're just like, they either think you're crazy or they just don't understand you, you know? And before this would bother me, but now I'm not really interested in people trying, like being able to understand me. I'm more interested in understanding myself, because if the more I understand myself, the more I can understand my operating system, and the more I can like operate in the world in a, I want to say, effective manner, if that even makes sense. Yeah, so all of these trials and tribulations that we've been going through, trust me, gets better, you know? Um, yes, it's hard. It's very hard. It's very difficult, but everything I feel like is, um, exists because it has a purpose, you know? And whether, I think the confusion and the chaos occurs when you don't understand, but once you get clarity on everything, then everything just becomes so clear. I don't know what's going on with my throat chakra, but I think on a collective level, everyone is being upgraded. I can just feel it. Like the past 2 days in my body, I could feel like just a lot of dense energies that I had to process, and I just feel like this is happening collectively. And honestly, I've also noticed that a lot of I know this sounds left field, but a lot of like demonic or lower vibrational energies or entities have been being called out and held accountable. So a lot of, yeah, it's like there's a shift definitely happening, if that even makes sense. But I hope you learned something, and if you didn't, that's cool. But thank you for stopping by. Have a wonderful day and take care. Amen.